The fall of Proxima Station. The Proxima Station hung like a tarnished jewel against the backdrop of stars, its once gleaming hull now scared by 2 weeks of relentless attacks. Commander Elise Chen stood at the observation deck, her reflection ghostly in the reinforced glass, as she watched the massive Viridian ships circling at a distance. They reminded her of sharks she'd once seen in Earth's oceans, patient predators waiting for their wounded prey to weaken. "Status report," she said without turning. Lieutenant Cade Park's voice came back tight with exhaustion. Life support at 37%. Defensive shields failing on decks 12 through 17. The evacuation pods have all launched except for the command staff reserve. 212 personnel remaining. 212 from an original complement of 3,000. Chen closed her eyes briefly, feeling the weight of those numbers. And communications. Still nothing from Earth Command, Commander. Our distress signals are broadcasting, but his voice trailed off. They both knew what that silence meant. Chen had served the United Earth Coalition for 22 years. Proxima Station was humanity's farthest outpost, a symbol of their expansion into the stars. It wasn't supposed to end like this. Not in fire and silence, abandoned by the very government that had built it. The Viridian Collective had appeared without warning 16 days ago. Their ships, with technology far beyond humanity's understanding, had simply materialized at the edge of the system. Their message had been simple: humans were expanding too rapidly, consuming too many resources, destabilizing the careful balance of power in this sector of the galaxy. Proxima Station was to be dismantled, a warning to Earth to halt all colonization efforts. "Commander," Second Officer Jamil Hassan's voice broke through her thoughts. "They're broadcasting again." The holographic display flickered to life in the center of the command deck. The Viridian representative appeared as it always did, a tall, slender figure with iridescent skin that seemed to shift between green and blue. Its features were almost human-like, but with an unsettling symmetry that no human face possessed. "Final warning, Proxima Station," it said, its voice a harmonious blend that seemed to come from multiple sources at once. "Your evacuation period has concluded. Your remaining life support will fail within 12 of your hours. Any humans remaining will be considered to have rejected our mercy." Chen stepped forward. "This is Commander Elise Chen. I request additional time to evacuate our remaining personnel. Many are wounded and your request is denied. The decision of the collective is final. Humanity has been granted sufficient warning. Containment will now proceed." The transmission cut off abruptly. "Containment," Hassan muttered. "Nice way of saying extermination." Chen turned to face her remaining command staff. They were exhausted, running on stims and determination. Some had family back on Earth, others had watched friends die in the initial assault. All had chosen to stay when she'd ordered the final evacuation. "I won't order anyone to remain," she said. "The command pod can take all of us. It's time to go." Park shook his head. "With respect, Commander, where would we go? Earth hasn't responded to any communications in over a week. The colony on Europa went silent 3 days ago. The collective could be blocking our transmissions," Medical Officer Layla Wong suggested, but her tone lacked conviction. "Or Earth has fallen," Hassan said flatly. "We could be the last humans standing in this sector." Chen looked back at the Viridian ships. There was something about their formation that bothered her, something she couldn't quite place. "If that's true, then running doesn't make sense anyway. We make our stand here." "Against that," Park gestured at the display showing the Viridian fleet. "That's not a stand, Commander. That's suicide." "Maybe," Chen admitted, "but Proxima is more than just a station. It's everything humanity has worked for. Our reach into the stars. Our future. I won't abandon it while I still have breath." The silence that followed told her everything she needed to know. No one would be taking that escape pod. "Divert all remaining power to defensive systems," she ordered. "Shut down non-essential decks. If we're going down, we'll make them work for it." As her crew moved to their stations with renewed purpose, Chen returned her gaze to the observation window. The Viridian ships had changed their pattern, moving into what appeared to be an attack formation. It wouldn't be long now. "Commander," the communications officer called suddenly. "I'm detecting new signatures at the edge of our sensor range." Chen felt a flicker of hope that was immediately crushed. "Viridian reinforcements." "No, ma'am. The energy signatures don't match Viridian configuration." The young officer's voice rose with confusion. "They don't match anything in our database." The tactical display updated, showing multiple objects emerging from what appeared to be self-generated spatial distortions, a technology theoretical but never successfully implemented by Earth's scientists. Dozens of vessels appeared, their hulls gleaming with a metallic sheen that seemed to shift between silver and midnight blue. "Are they responding to communications?" Chen asked, her voice steady despite the hope threatening to crack it. The communications officer adjusted her equipment. "They're broadcasting on our frequency, but it's encoded." "Wait." Her fingers flew across the console. "It's an old Earth military cipher. Pre-coalition." When the message finally decoded, a single line appeared on their screens. "Proxima Station. This is Admiral Maya Okafor of the Earth Liberation Fleet. The children of Terra stand with you. Hold position." The new vessels moved with impossible speed, positioning themselves between Proxima Station and the Viridian fleet. There was no communication, no warning, just immediate, devastating action. The first Viridian ship shattered in space before Proxima's crew fully realized what was happening. One moment it hung like a malevolent star. The next, it fractured into burning fragments. "What just hit them?" Hassan whispered, voice barely audible as he watched the tactical display. No one had an answer. The Earth vessels, if that's truly what they were, employed weapons technology unlike anything recorded in human archives. There were no energy beam signatures, no missile trajectories, no obvious projectile impacts. The Viridian ships simply failed, their systems collapsing in cascading sequences that left them dead in space or tearing themselves apart from within. In Proxima's communications hub, the first direct transmission from the Earth fleet arrived. Audio only, in a voice that held the calm confidence of absolute certainty. "Proxima Station, this is Admiral Okafor. We have control of your orbital space. The enemy vessels are being neutralized as we speak. Prepare to receive boarding teams." When the boarding party arrived at the main airlock, Chen was there to meet them. The soldiers who emerged were not wearing the familiar blue uniforms of the Earth Coalition. Their armor was sleek, almost organic in appearance, with no visible weapons yet an unmistakable aura of deadly capability. Their leader removed her helmet, revealing a woman in her 50s with close-cropped silver hair and eyes that seemed to evaluate and categorize everything they fell upon. The insignia on her shoulder showed Earth encircled by stars, a symbol Chen didn't recognize. "Commander Chen," the woman said, extending her hand. "Admiral Maya Okafor, we came as soon as we detected your distress signal." Chen accepted the handshake, noting the woman's firm grip. "Admiral, your fleet isn't coalition. Who exactly are you?" Okafor's expression was grim but not unkind. "We represent the true Earth, Commander, the Earth that refused to surrender, to compromised, to be contained." She glanced around at the damaged station. "We have much to discuss, but first, let's see to your wounded and secure this station. The Viridians don't take defeat well." As if summoned by her words, the station shuddered as a massive energy surge registered on the sensors. One of the damaged Viridian ships had activated what appeared to be a self-destruct sequence. "Brace for impact." Chen shouted, but Admiral Okafor merely raised her hand. A soldier stepped forward, activating a small device. A shimmering field of energy expanded outward from Proxima Station, just as the Viridian ship exploded. The blast wave hit the energy field and dispersed around it, leaving the station untouched. "Displacement shield," Okafor explained calmly. "One of many technologies we've developed since going dark." "Going dark," Chen repeated, struggling to process everything happening around her. O'Kiffer's eyes met hers with an intensity that seemed to look straight through her. "Commander, what do you know about the Severance?" "The historical records say it was a failed rebellion, a faction of extremists who opposed the coalition's peaceful contact policies. They were defeated and—" Chen paused, sudden understanding dawning, "and disappeared. No bodies were ever recovered." Okafor smiled thinly. "History is written by the victorious, or in this case, by those who appeared to be victorious." She gestured to her soldiers. "We didn't disappear, Commander. We rebuilt. We prepared. And now, we've returned, just in time, it seems." As they walked toward the command center, Chen felt her world tilting on its axis. Everything she had believed about Earth, about humanity's place in the galaxy, was being called into question. But one thing was certain. For the first time in 2 weeks, Proxima Station had hope. And sometimes, hope was enough to change everything. The legacy of Earth. The holographic display in Proxima's command center showed the remnants of the Viridian fleet retreating to the edge of the system. What had once been an overwhelming force was now a scattered collection of damaged vessels, limping away from a battle they had never expected to lose. Commander Chen stood beside Admiral Okafor, watching the display with a mixture of relief and lingering disbelief. "They're actually running." "For now," Okafor replied. "The Viridians aren't accustomed to defeat. They'll regroup, reassess, and return with greater numbers." "Then we should evacuate while we can," Lieutenant Park suggested. "If they come back with reinforcements." "We're not going anywhere," Okafor cut him off. "Proxima Station stands. That's the message we're sending, not just to the Viridians, but to every species watching this sector." Chen studied the Admiral's face. In the 6 hours since the Liberation Fleet's arrival, she'd had little time to process the implications of their existence. A secret faction of humanity, operating independently for decades with technology far beyond what the Coalition possessed. It seemed impossible. "You said we need to talk about the Severance," Chen said. "I think now is the time." Okafor nodded, dismissing her officers with a gesture. When only Chen's senior staff remained, she activated a small device that created a bubble of silence around them, a privacy field. "What you know as the Severance happened 63 years ago," Okafor began. "The official history says it was a failed rebellion against Coalition policies. The truth is more complicated." She manipulated the holographic display, showing Earth and its solar system. By the time the Coalition formed, humanity had already made contact with 3 alien species. What most humans never knew was that our government had also detected signals from dozens more, including the Viridian Collective. The Collective offered Earth's leaders a deal: restrict human expansion to the Sol system, and they would be granted observer status in the galactic community. Limited trade, limited technology sharing, but a seat at the table. Hassan frowned. "Our government agreed to contain humanity, without telling us." "Some agreed," Okafor corrected. "Others believed it was equivalent to placing humanity in a zoo." When the Coalition signed the Containment Accord, a faction within Earth's military refused to accept it. That was the true beginning of the Severance. Chen felt a chill run through her. So the rebellion wasn't against peaceful contact. It was against our own surrender. Precisely. Those of us who opposed the Accord took what ships and resources we could and disappeared beyond the reach of Coalition tracking systems. We established hidden bases in other systems, developed our own technology without the restrictions imposed by the Accord. But why stay hidden for so long? Medical Officer Wong asked. Why not tell people the truth? Okafor's expression darkened. Because the terms of the Accord were clear. Any violation would result in the Viridians and their allies considering all of humanity hostile. Earth would be vulnerable to containment measures, their euphemism for extinction. The command center fell silent as the implications sank in. So you've been watching, Chen said finally. Waiting. Building, Okafor corrected. preparing for the day when the Viridians inevitably decided that even a contained humanity was too dangerous. We've established colonies far beyond their sensor range, developed technologies they can't imagine. And now, Park asked, now they've shown their true intentions. The attack on Proxima wasn't about one station. It was the beginning of their plan to eliminate humanity entirely. Our intelligence suggests they've already disabled Earth's defensive systems. Okafor's eyes met Chen's. The coalition you served is likely already under Viridian control. Chen felt as though the deck had dropped away beneath her feet. Earth has fallen. Not yet, Okafor said firmly. But it will, without our intervention. The Liberation Fleet you've seen is just one battle group. Our main force is already moving to reclaim Sol. Chen struggled to process everything she was hearing. Her entire career had been built on coalition principles: peaceful expansion, scientific cooperation, diplomatic caution. Now she was being told it had all been based on a lie, a surrender before the fight had even begun. How do I know you're telling the truth? She asked finally. This could be an elaborate deception. Okafor smiled faintly. I expected nothing less from Elise Chen. Your mother would be proud. The words hit Chen like a physical blow. My mother died when I was a child. In a shuttle accident. Did she? Okafor removed a small data crystal from her uniform and placed it on the holographic projector. An image appeared. A younger version of her mother, wearing a uniform similar to Okafor's, standing on the bridge of an unfamiliar ship. Captain Sophia Chen was one of our finest commanders, Okafor said quietly. She returned to Earth on a covert mission when you were 8 years old. When she was discovered, the Coalition reported her death as an accident rather than reveal the truth. Chen stared at the image, memories surfacing of her mother's unexplained absences, the mysterious visitors who sometimes came late at night, the whispered conversations that stopped when she entered her room. She left this for you, Okafor continued, handing Chen a small pendant. She said you'd recognize it. Chen took the pendant with trembling hands. It was a simple stone on a chain, a piece of olivine her mother had found on their last trip to Hawaii. Chen had watched her polish it on the beach. She thought it lost forever. Why tell me this now? She managed to ask. Because you need to understand what we're fighting for, Okafor replied. This isn't just about survival. It's about humanity's right to determine its own destiny. Before Chen could respond, the station's alert system activated. Multiple ships dropping out of FTL, Hassan reported, moving quickly to his station. Viridian signatures, at least 3 times their previous numbers. Okafor seemed unsurprised. They've called in their fleet, sooner than I expected, but not unprepared for. She activated her communicator. Liberation Fleet, battle stations. Deploy Phase 2 countermeasures. The holographic display showed the Liberation vessels moving into a defensive formation around Proxima Station. Small objects detached from their hulls, spreading outward to form a complex network in space. What are those? Chen asked. Quantum entanglement nodes, Okafor explained. They'll disrupt the Viridians' command networks. The approaching Viridian fleet was massive. Hundreds of ships in tight formation, a hammer poised to crush the seemingly fragile Liberation forces. Even with your technology, Park said, we're outnumbered 10-1. Okafor's expression remained calm. Numbers aren't everything, Lieutenant. She turned to Chen. Commander, I believe it's time for you to make a choice. Stand with us, or remain neutral. I won't force your crew to fight. Chen looked at the pendant in her hand, then at the image of her mother still floating above the projector. Everything she had believed about her life, her service, was built on half-truths. But some things remained constant: her duty to her crew, to humanity's future. Proxima Station stands with Earth, she said firmly. The real Earth. Okafor nodded with approval. Then let's show the Viridians what humans are truly capable of. The battle that followed would later be recorded as the turning point, the moment when humanity revealed itself not as a species to be contained, but as a force to be reckoned with. The Viridian fleet launched its attack with overwhelming firepower, energy weapons cutting through space toward the Liberation ships. But the shots never landed. The quantum entanglement nodes activated, creating a distortion field that bent space itself around the human vessels. Target their command ships, Okafor ordered. Precision strikes only. The Liberation fleet responded with weapons unlike anything Chen had ever witnessed. There were no explosions, no destructive energy beams. Instead, pinpoint ruptures appeared in the hulls of the Viridian vessels, as if the very fabric of their ships was being selectively unraveled. Gravitational manipulation, Okafor explained, seeing Chen's bewildered expression. We've learned to isolate and control fundamental forces. The Viridian fleet's coordinated attack faltered as ship after ship lost propulsion, weapons, or life support. Not destroying them, disabling them with surgical precision. You're not trying to annihilate them, Chen realized. Annihilation is their way, not ours, Okafor replied. We want them to carry a message back to the collective. As the battle progressed, Chen watched in awe as the Liberation fleet systematically neutralized a force many times its size. The remaining Viridian ships began to retreat, but Okafor made no move to pursue them. Let them go, she ordered. Let them tell the others what they saw here today. In the aftermath, Chen stood on the observation deck again, watching as Liberation engineers began repairing Proxima's damaged systems. Admiral Okafor joined her, both women reflecting on the stars beyond. What happens now? Chen asked. Now we return to Earth, Okafor said. We break the containment accord once and for all. Humanity takes its rightful place among the stars, not as supplicants or captives, but as equals. And the Viridians, they'll adapt. Species always do. The strong don't need to dominate. They need only to demonstrate that domination is impossible. Okafor turned to face Chen directly. Your mother believed that humanity's strength wasn't in our weapons or technology, but in our diversity of thought, our adaptability, our refusal to accept limitations. Chen nodded slowly, feeling the weight of her mother's pendant against her chest. She used to tell me stories about ancient human explorers, how they sailed into unknown waters not knowing if they'd fall off the edge of the world. And yet they sailed anyway, Okafor finished. That's the legacy of Earth. Not caution, not containment, but courage. From the command center, Hassan's voice came through the intercom. Commander, we're receiving transmissions from the Sol system. It's from the Liberation forces there. Earth has been secured. The coalition leadership has been removed from power. Chen looked at Okafor. You planned this all along. A coordinated strike. We've been planning it for 60 years, Okafor admitted, waiting for the right moment, gathering our strength. Proxima was the trigger, the proof that the Viridians never intended to honor the accord. Through the observation window, Chen could see more Liberation ships arriving, transports carrying supplies, medical teams, engineering crews. Not conquerors, but rebuilders. Your mother would be proud, Okafor said again, softer this time. Not just of what you've done, but of what you'll do next. Next, humanity needs leaders who understand both worlds, the coalition and the Liberation. People who can help forge a new path forward. Okafor gestured to the stars beyond. There's an entire galaxy waiting, Commander Chen. And this time, we explore it on our terms. As the sun of Proxima Centauri rose over the edge of the station, bathing the observation deck in golden light, Chen felt something she hadn't experienced in weeks, a sense of possibility, a future. When all hope had seemed lost, humanity had arrived, changing everything. Not through surrender or containment, but through perseverance, through the quiet strength of those who refuse to accept defeat. It was, Chen thought, the most human thing of all.